Folks, I took a walk the other day to a real pretty creek up to see some big rocks. I took that walk with Passion on Fire and his son, and I saw through his eyes and heard his words, and I saw through the eyes of his son and I heard his words, and their actions and words gave me the enthusiasm to make this video. How to find an ancient artifact? Well, these are ones that I haven't even been to the water hose. Haven't washed. Just dust them off, set them around. And what I look for is a pattern. For instance, this one has a little knobby thing sticking out on it. In a way, I see that pattern. And the fact that it was Cortex with a sliced down to hardstone. And then I look for any color, which does show up a lot whenever I wash them, but I have to decide to put this rock in my bucket or a dozen others. So I choose this one for that reason. It has a weird looking knobby sticking out there. I see some color, and it's also soft. There's no sharp edges on it. If a stone has a sharp edge on it, I immediately reject it as far as, an old artifact. Because the soft edges weren't made just because of its ancient age, but they're made that way because it's a tool and they want all the edges soft except the tool part. That's another thing I look for. Well, one of the first things I look for, rather than looking for images or anything, just the size of the stone and if it could be used as a tool. So if I find one that looks as if it could be used as a tool, whether it be a color cup or a scraper or abrasion tool, whatever, and also if it has an odd shape like that one, it goes in the bucket. And this is like that. This one got my attention because it was had an area where you could use as a scraper. It had an odd shape. There again, odd shapes attract my attention. This one, it had that shape of being worked. I could see where it had been napped and then split. And it had a little knobby thing sticking out there, which is usually the head of some animal. So these are ones that I haven't even cleaned up yet. And that's what my eye looks for in the creek. Fortunately, I found this kind of stuff before I got too hooked into points. And otherwise, well, I can still recognize a point and all, but I recognize patterns, these particular patterns that I see over and over again. For instance, the pattern of this bison, it's the shape of the high shoulders up here and lower in the back, kind of a larger head, a lot of strength in the front part, and just the shape of it looks like a bison. That's why, and it's also a tool. It's a cutting tool, scraping, kind of like a 90-degree cutting tool. Remember, these folks are working with wood. It's unimaginable, all the stuff they made with wood. Not just arrowheads and spears and stuff. Everything they made and lived with was made from wood or ivory or whatever. Okay, so this little guy, one of the first things I look for that, if I picked it up at a creek, the first thing I look for is, well, the tool use. Could it be used as a tool? And it just falls in your hand right there as a little crescent-shaped side scraper, an abrasion tool. And then the wear right there shows that it could have been used for that. And then the color, if there's any color in it, I look for the loss of color around that wear. So this is all sort of done before I even wash the rock. And then it goes in a bucket. But one of the things that attracted me to this little stone was it had that same shape of a bison, the high shoulder ridge, lower back, but showing a lot of power, a lot of strength in the animal. And after it's washed up, I look for eyes, and I can plainly see where the eyes were made for this bison. And then what is really cool is when I find other stuff, I flip it over and I see a bird with its wings up, and there's a little tail come down to like a lobster tail right down there with even little pecked out feathers, and its wings are up and like it's flying or jumping or something. And then there's color down in those little things. So this is an authentic, ancient, whatever you want to call it, effigy, or it's a tool is what it is. It's just a little, they decorated their tools really cool. Just like that one. That was another tool. I'll make this video short. I won't go into these too much, but these are other rocks that I picked up just because of their tool use. I mean, that's why I was attracted to them. Now, this one has a fresh break right there. Not real fresh. It's possible it could have happened 30 years ago when I was really throwing rocks around, cleaning up to mow when the first dozing started up, but it's still a little bit sharp. So that's the first break. Okay, so I overlooked that, and then I just want to find out how it fits in my hand. Now I water around till I go, okay, right there. Oh, perfect. I mean, it just fits very comfortable. And for a tool like that, disregarding that missing piece, because the tool itself came up to right there, then the missing piece was over there. So it was a tool right there, which was a crescent-shaped scraper. Like I said, they're working with wood. You got to have a big tool, a small tool, and then, well, it's got images all over it. But I'll give you one more example, or two more examples. This one, I picked it up simply because the tool use was obvious. It fit perfect. It had been sharp. It was used as a cutting edge, kind of a crescent shape, scraping, cutting. And I could see that it was a uniface made tool. This side is like sliced off of a stone, and the sharpening that was done on this blade was done with, let me get it right, was done by napping one side to make the sharp edge. And then, after that was worn down a bit, a little bit of opposite napping was done. But initially, it just had a uniface side and these little things here to make it the tool that it needed to be. And that's what I want to show you. I was looking for the tool. This one has awesome images in it too. This is another oddball. I picked it up because it looked like a big old hunk of bone. It's like a ball and socket type thing, and it very possibly could be. But if it was, it had to be something huge, and it would have had to been fossilized before these folks started working on it. But I can tell by looking at the bottom, it was an obvious man-made, or woman-made, and then it was split down. You can see where it splits off from here. And on each one of these edges, you can see these little dip, 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 dip. And that was where they pecked it through here, or they could have been using a drill and then sanded it in that shape right there. And then go bang, and this piece splits off. And that's how they're, whoa, that's cool. That's how they're carving, the rock up. Just, that's how they carved it up. Now, I want to find a tool use on it, or I think it's just a rock. And I found the tool use. Now, it does have some saddles right through here and up here on that one. And, well, it does have saddles right through there where it could be used for, something rubbed against it like that to make it round or whatever. But the most obvious tool use on this piece is that the bottom is just sanded smooth. It's also very flat. The bottom is just super, super smooth. And you can see that it's had wear where it had been used like that for something. And it has color on it and all. And I have just a little bit looked at this one, and there is incredible images in that Cortex. They're a bit worn from age, but I will show you that sometime. But I just wanted to kind of say this to Passion on Fire and his son, that when you're looking for biddies, I would say don't let the image of an arrowhead stick in your mind too much. And Passion, your son, said something really, really important. He said something about picking up rocks at random. Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. Pick them up at random. Let the rocks talk to you. Don't demand of the rock. Of course, you weren't doing that anyway. You was just having a good day. Okay, bye for now.